I was sure the wooden box, aged and without a return address, was just a delivery mistake. But the smell of damp earth and something else, something metallic, made me hesitate before opening it. When I saw what was inside, I knew it wasn't a mistake. It was a message, and it was for me. That was 6 months ago, and the memory of that gift still haunts me. My life is a sea of data, code, and predictable routines. As a data analyst, my world is made of organized spreadsheets and algorithms that run like clockwork. I live alone in an apartment I consider my safe haven, a place where the locks are solid and privacy is guaranteed. Most of my work is done from home, which gave me a sense of absolute control over my environment. The only complication was the old, exhausting rivalry with a coworker, Mark Jennings. He was the archetype of professional jealousy, always thinking he deserved more, spreading gossip behind my back, and subtly sabotaging projects. I remember clearly when we were both up for a promotion. He felt wronged when I was chosen, which only deepened his resentment. The company went through layoffs a year ago, and he was one of those let go. That only served to embitter him further. There was never a physical confrontation or any kind of direct threat between us. It was just this silent tension, a poison distilled in whispers and sideways glances. I never imagined that bitterness could curdle into something so sinister. It all started about 6 months ago, on a Tuesday. An unusual package appeared at my door, a heavy wooden box with a rustic, aged look. What struck me most was the complete lack of a return address, just my name and address handwritten in an irregular, almost crude script that sent a slight chill down my spine. I wasn't expecting anything. Besides, the front desk had no record of any delivery for me that day. Curiosity, mixed with a cautious instinct, made me leave it there for a few hours. The next morning it was still there, a strange, out-of-place object in my organized routine. I decided to bring it inside. That's when the peculiar smell intensified. A strong mix of damp earth, mildew, and a metallic tang that reminded me of rust. I opened the box carefully. Inside, nestled in a layer of dry straw, was a single item. It was an antique metal gear, worn and weathered, as if it had been pulled from a very old pocket watch. But the details were the most disturbing part. Deep scratches marred the metal surface, and, to my absolute horror, a single dark hair was caught in one of the gear's teeth. In that moment, indifference gave way to a growing unease. I started to wonder who could have sent this, and why. The handwriting, the gear, the hair, it all felt purposeful. And I couldn't, for the life of me, shake the feeling that this object had a direct connection to me. Something inside me screamed that this was no random mistake. It was intentional. That gear, the strand of hair, the lingering smell, it all tormented me. Sleep wouldn't come that night. Every creak of the building, every distant noise from the street seemed amplified, threatening. Around 3 a.m, the silence was broken by a different sound, subtle but unmistakable. The slow drag of something heavy in the hallway outside my apartment. My heart pounded. I lived alone, and the building was usually silent at that hour. I grabbed my phone, my hand shaking so badly I could barely hold it. The screen lit up the room, revealing my pale, frightened reflection. The sound stopped. An eternity of silence settled in, broken only by my own ragged breathing. Then, a soft tap, tap, tap on my door. It wasn't a normal knock. It was delicate, almost hesitant, as if whoever was out there didn't want to be noticed. My mind screamed at me not to answer, to lock myself away, to call the police. But a dark force, A mix of fear and a strange need to confront the unexplainable made me get up. I approached the door, the sound of my own heart hammering in my ears. I looked through the peephole. There was nothing, just the dark, empty hallway. But something was different. That smell from the wooden box, the odor of damp earth and metal, was stronger now, seeping in from under my door. And then I saw it. On the floor, right in front of my door, was another gear. Identical to the first one, but this one didn't have a strand of hair. It had a small metal chain attached to one of its teeth. And, more disturbingly, the chain seemed to sway, gently, as if someone had just let it go. My stomach churned. This wasn't a gift. It was a threat, a warning, and the person, or whatever it was right there, just on the other side of the door. Panic seized me. I couldn't think, only react. I backed away from the door, my eyes fixed on the peephole, waiting to see something, anything. The dragging sound returned, this time moving away, fading down the stairwell. I stood there, paralyzed for over an hour, just listening, waiting. The fear that they would come back, that they were just waiting, was unbearable. At the first sign of daylight, I fled. I didn't grab anything, just my car keys and my phone. I ran down the stairs, avoiding the elevator, praying no one was waiting. I got to my car, parked 3 blocks away, my body tense and ready for anything. I drove aimlessly for nearly an hour until the panic gave way to exhaustion. I went straight to the police station. I told them everything: the box, the gear, the smell, the door, the second gear. The officer took notes with a look of utter boredom. "Sir, without any witnesses, no injuries, no proof of a break-in, it's hard to move forward with an investigation. This story about an envious coworker, that's just speculation. We can file it as a suspicious package incident, but there's not much we can do right now." He handed me a piece of paper with a case number. That night, desperately searching for answers online, I found an obscure forum about paranormal experiences and unsolved crimes. There were dozens of similar accounts. Mysterious packages, objects left at doors, strange smells. One specific case, from a woman in another city, described a wooden box with a gear and a strand of hair. The post was from 2 years ago. The poster vanished shortly after. No resolution, no attacker caught. I felt more alone and terrified than ever. Today, 6 months later, I still lock my doors 3 times before I go to sleep. I installed motion sensors and a camera at the entrance, even though I know they wouldn't catch them. The smell of damp earth makes me nauseous, and any cardboard box sends me into a panic. The online forum is still active, but the recent posts aren't about gears. They're about disappearances. People who received something strange, who reported an object left at their door, and then they were gone. There are no more posts from that woman with the gear, nor from the guy who reported disappearing shortly after. The last thing I saw before shutting down my computer that night was an email notification. The sender was anonymous. The subject? We're still in sync.